went over arm bars, and we went over Kimuras slash Americanas. So what do y'all think the next logical progression is? What's that?
Triangle.
Head and arm chokes. Yes. A choke where the joint is also in the choke. So, Castillo, yeah, sure. Head and arm. Which one do you want? This one?
Yeah.
Sure, that works. So if we are here, just to prove that this works, he's gonna choke me. Does that make sense? Right? We have wrists, we have elbows, we have shoulders, right? When they stop attacking one of those, the next logical progression is your neck, right? So what is he doing to do this? Well, you see he's blocking this side, preventing me from being able to escape with my neck that way. And then he's closing the space in between my shoulder and my neck. Go ahead. And you see how he's squeezing that and using his head to stop my head movement from making space, or from my elbow from dropping, making space. So if you remember, for the arm bar thing and for the Kimura, it's all about not letting your elbow get shoved and increasing your shoulder mobility. Can we stand up real fast? That does not apply here. I can have all the shoulder mobility in the world and still get choked out. I can get choked out standing, and yet my shoulder mobility is there, right? My elbow doesn't need to be shoved through this. My arm just needs to be trapped. Does that make sense? So, not every defense works for everything. So, if you see, what is the core concept that I want to do for him to finish? He wants to squeeze the space, obviously, right? And get me under control and not allow me to either rotate or get hipping power or extension, right? So, I want to do all of those things, right? I want to make space. If I wanted, I could support it, right? I could kick, right? And if this fails, right, I could swim, right? I don't want this space to close, right? So if I come underneath, is there a choke here now? You want to squeeze it, go ahead.
No.
Ain't nothing, right? So, if I know that I want this space to get big, and I put my hand on the other side of his head, right? He's not gonna choke me. How do I get it there? Well, there's a bunch of ways to do it. If you need to buy yourself time, you can always go like this. Can you choke me right now?
No.
Right? Another way is answering the phone. He tries to choke me. I will hazard to this one because you'll get your arm broken if they're really mean, right? And then people think they can defend themselves by covering it like this. They're still gonna break your wrist. Does that make sense? Right? So doing this, not the smartest idea, right? If he can get my fingertips, he now broke my hand. So, I recommend most time people come here, kind of touch your own shoulder or their elbow and try to bring your own elbows together and then pull down. If you need to buy time. But if he's going for it, right, doing this is just buying me time because eventually he's going to get this elbow to come up and I'm going to go to sleep, right? Staying in a choke, unlike staying in an arm bar or something like that, doesn't prove you're good at jiu-jitsu, it just proves you're stupid. Or you're bad at jiu-jitsu, right? So we're gonna be here, right? And again, we can do several things, but my primary goal is to expand this space, right? Now, if I keep going this direction, obviously you can take my back. Sometimes it's better to give your back up and get choked the fuck out though. So, if your simple defense is this, cool. But don't be lazy even when you do this. Even controlling just that arm can change a lot of like how this goes. Because even if he's coming up and I control this, we can go back around, we can come back into the fight, we can do all kinds of things. Just don't be lazy with it, if that is your defense. I think the most common one you're ever gonna see though, that people show off because it looks cool and it's effective, is you're gonna come here with your foot, hook your own hand. He can't choke me, cool. He tries to change the angle, fill in, doesn't matter. Right, I'm staying protected, right? And then what do people always do from here, right? They try to kick up. No, I'm gonna sit up. I don't think this is smart. Yeah. Right? We go into the same dilemma. I could just turn. However, we can change this. This is more of a technical thing. So what we're gonna do, same thing. And even if his elbow or slash knee is up on my stomach, we can brace, do all those kinds of things. Post your hand. You see I'm turning my body sideways. This foot is almost always going to be able to come up, even with his knee on my belly, right? Once I did it just enough off of my hip, right? It can still be on my core even, no, should be able to do this, right? This will just still do the same thing, right? I'm gonna kick, but here I'm not gonna sit up, right? I'm gonna take my hand and I'm gonna swim it super hard to the ground. Does that make sense? It doesn't, does it? All right, so I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna kick, I'm gonna take my hand, I'm gonna put it over here, and when I'm doing this, I should be shoving this hand like this. What does this look like? Very much like a pendulum. So all I'm doing, making it big, putting it on the other side where there is no choke, and then I'm just pulling it back close to my body. And I should be coming on top, but I'm lazy and other things like that. Does that make sense? Okay, core of the concept, make big space, right? Even if doing something like this, I have now removed the choke. Does that make sense? It does not have to be so linear. Most people, again, only know one escape, and it's always this one. And if you're really good at knee on belly, you can shut that down pretty good, because most people suck at getting their your knee off of their belly. So, but even here, if I come here, get this elbow down, aka if I was up here, he was going for the choke, I get separation, and I can get his hands apart, even just laying down right here. The choke's not there anymore, and then I'm just gonna take my hand and put it in between us. Y'all understanding the core principle? Main thing, make sure there's space, okay? Give that a try for a little bit. Okay. So you saw this silly technical one where we're like, wham, and we go here, and we get space, and then we take our hand, I'll just do it. And we come here, right? And we come up. Well, we're gonna do something kind of similar, right? We're gonna do a look away. We're gonna take here, hand here, whatever you wanna do, but what you're looking for is the look away. And from this look away, you're now gonna take your elbow, right? Drop it to the floor again. But when you're dropping it, I want your body to come out this way. So instead of coming inward, you're coming from here, and you're coming out this way. And you want to get more head control than anything. And you'll do this when people are chasing you. All right, because if I turn away, right, he's gonna start to try to take my back, right? And if I turn into him, he can either get the choke again, right back, or he's just gonna stay on a dominant position, right? So if I'm here, right, I'm gonna do the look away, right? And when he starts to chase me, I'm gonna take and top. Normally we go towards the head, depends how hard they're chasing. Because their drive is to stay connected to you. Once you look away, start to come up. If you're like coming up like this, he tries to drive to stay connected. Once you drop and come this direction, it should be looking to come towards head, because it'll be turning towards you and trying to get control of your back and stuff like that. And you'll just come on top, right? I'll steal you for this. right? So if I was here, right, he does a look away. I try to stay on top of him, right, and he tries to sit up. I'm gonna stay on his back, right? So, but now if he walks his hips this way, right, and I start to stay connected, right, it's gonna be very hard for me to stay connected. Does that make sense? It's not the same concept as turning in, right? When you turn in, you really want your arm to come down, right? On this one, you're coming here to make space, right? Coming here, right? And for this one, I really don't really care about my hand. I care about my hips. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, that one? Yeah. Now you can keep running, right? So say we're up here and I'm like here and I'm like, oh, I don't have it. You got a lot of space to keep going. Sometimes you don't get it on the first try. You get here and you're like, oh. And you can always drive in.
Or you can reverse buggy choke.
Or you can do that stuff. There's a bunch of stuff you can do.
That doesn't actually.
A reverse button? I feel like this would work.
It works on people who
Don't expand their space? Yeah. Yeah. That choke is the same exact thing as what we're talking about. It's just from side control.
Yeah, it's
So like, if he puts me in a buggy choke, this is a head and arm choke. Alright. And if I want you to follow the same principles.
Up here. This is what I usually do. I don't have a finisher buggy, but if I get here, then I just reverse him into the arm, head and arm. And it becomes a game back and forth.
What's this? Running man. I can't even reverse buggy. What's that? I'm gonna reverse bugging. I didn't even remember how to do it for a second. Does that make sense though?
Yeah.
Cool. Give that a try. Still on. Weird.
Any type of choke that you need your head in, it's the same type of thing. Or the arm in, I mean?
Okay, so where's the Okay, so let's say triangle choke, right? What's my real goal? I don't want the space to be tiny, right? Because if there's space tiny, I get choked, right? As long as the space isn't tiny. Quick defense, right? This is not a solid defense. I would not keep this. This is how you get your arm broken. Why? Because my shoulder is controlled and my elbow is shelved and he's strong and he just grabs. Ba-bam! Broken arms. Right? And then triangle. Because, you know, they can do that. Because it's in the streets. Alright, but anyway. I don't want this to cross, right? And I don't want it doesn't have to cross. The space just has to be small, right? So, that's what I need to do is expand the space. Right? I've expanded space. I've done a lot. Lat pull down. I can expand more and I can get off. Right? Or I can't control how my posture is because I can't get it back. Dive in, make the space big. All of these have the same principle, right? I'm over here, I'm really late to the fucking party. I'm gonna take my hands, and I'm gonna turn sideways. That space gets really big. Now, when you do this one, be careful with your elbows, for the love of God. You can get them broken, right? But they're all the same, right? The concepts from being here, right, and being in a triangle choke, all the same.
Bars.
Anything with your arm
Same. Head and arm.
and neck is the same.
Anaconda.
All of them. How-
All of them have the same.
So like, what's a Darce escape, right?
Open up.
Be the beautiful little flower, right? That's it. Make space. How the fuck's he gonna choke you? He's not.
Okay. if the shoulder can't go into the neck, there's no choke.
Unless you replace something else there.
Yeah, I tried that on Austin. He still didn't tap.
So-
I did an Ezekiel while I had the head and arm,
Nice.
and he still wouldn't tap. What's wrong with your neck?
Got a solid neck.
I think his jugulars are not in the normal spot.
Yeah, you think they're a little further
I
back?
think they're like
further
behind
forward?
like his windpipe or something, I don't know.
Really? Or they're hidden behind like a different layer of muscle,
Mhm.
so that means they're getting pushed forward or something? Yeah, can happen.
So they can't be choked?
No, it's not that it can't be choked, it's just harder.
The only time I ever choke him is when I crank his neck. It looks like a choke.
Alright, do y'all have any questions on it?
That was good.
You sure? Because this would be the time to ask. Like, I know that I make it sound super simple. The concept is simple. Don't allow that space to get closed off. How do we do this? We either bring our elbow down, some fashion, or we weave our arm. That's really it. Like, you can do it a whole bunch of ways. You can bring support into the fight, right? Add rotation. All those things are doing the same exact thing, and when we do them all in conjunction with each other, typically we will win that battle, right? Doesn't mean you will. You still lose it.
I always bring support to the fight because I don't trust the strength of my one arm to his whole body.
You should know.
So I bring support every time, whether it's the leg or whether that's the other arm to help pull it down, rotate, whatever way you want to do it. Bring the support.
And that again applies for triangles, darces, anacondas, all those things. Anything that involves a joint and the neck. Does that make sense? Cool. We're gonna play a game.